this what we do? I think this is what we do. Okay. Well, if that's happening, surely no one will be able to see that. So, let me just make sure everything's. Mute that. Mute that. All right. Let me. Okay. All right. This is gonna be rough. Okay. I'm gonna. Let's pop that out. Yay. Yay. Proceed. I got this. This is gonna be great. This is gonna be amazing. This is gonna be the best stream. Okay. Well, I know everything's working. Ooh, what? Interesting. Gotta mess with these encoder settings now. Huh. Alright. That's weird. Now will that work? That might work now. Now that might work. Now that might work. Okay. How clear is that? That's pretty clear. Should be clear enough. Alright, let me go ahead and grab. Do. Cinestudy. There we go. Skip that. Don't want to update. Cause problems. All right. Let's go ahead and cancel download. We're gonna go download all. Okay. This shouldn't take too terribly long. Yay. I'm gonna head over to the okay. Let me go to this PC. Yep. Sort by type. We want MP3s here. Okay. Well, we're just gonna go ahead, head on over to nope. There we go. So you got enough tracks on here? Yeah, he's got enough tracks on here for a stream. Cool, cool, cool. See if we can make that quieter. Not go ahead and get up my stream document here. Alright. What do I even have going on here? It's been a long time since I've streamed anything. Okay. I am Ando. And I do freelance video editing and just overall do small scale content creation, excuse me. And I'm also just an enthusiast for editing theory. And fifth one here, I'm just someone who wants to help people get better at understanding this stuff. And I think that's kind of what the purpose here is. So, as I'm talking to no one, which is fine, that's completely okay. Why should I edit? One, it's really nice to learn a new skill. Always, if you're not learning, you're dying. That's at least the way I see it, and I think editing is just one of those ones where understanding how to put something together, like a scene, is really important. Two, be part of the content-focused world. As we go towards the future, we notice that more and more of the world seems to be focused on content creation. More people want to make more things. They want to be able to show off all this, what they got going on. Editing is a very important part of all that. So, while it is very important, not everybody knows how to do it well. And sometimes you kind of do have to look for and hunt for that information in order to get what you're looking for in order to create better content. Three, you can present your art in a way that stands out. Now, editing is a really good way to create things that stand out. You can, I mean, look at people like Mr. Beast. His editor creates a lot of different ways of editing that just really scream at you, continue to watch this, and that's really important. Retention, I hate using that word, but retention is really important, and editing is a huge part of retention, because if something's poorly edited, and it's really boring, and it's not good at telling the
Thanksgiving
story.
will be here before you
and
know
that's
it,
an ad.
and your shopping list might
that's
be
great.
looking a little long. But you can...
If it's not good at telling a story, you're gonna really struggle to keep your audience watching. 4, of course, make cool stuff. You can make some really cool stuff when you start to edit. And of course, 5, make some money because people like making money. Alright, let me just... What do you need to get started editing? These are 3 things I believe that you needed to get started. You need nothing else besides these things, and then maybe a fourth one being a willingness to learn. A willingness to learn is going to get you farther than anything else I could recommend outside of these 3. So 1, phone or a computer, or a pair of scissors if you're on film, and some glue. 2, editing software / NLE. An NLE stands for a non-linear editor. So your standard editing software is a non-linear editor opposed to a linear editor, like when they used to splice film together. You go in order there, and you put everything together. A non-linear editor, you can edit in any particular order you want. You don't have to worry about all that stuff. 3, something to edit. Now, that can be difficult. I'd argue that the most difficult part of editing is finding something to edit. And once you are able to find that thing to edit, you can kind of just dig in once you know your few basic principles of editing. No matter how new you are or how experienced you are, you really, as long as you know what you want in your head, something to look like, you can make whatever you want. Alright, with that said, what is the best editing software / NLE I should use? 1, the one you have. Many people are really concerned about what's the best this, what's the best that, and honestly, while there are editing software that I would consider better than others, it usually comes down, a lot of the time it does come down to preference. And outside of preference, if you don't have a whole lot of money, the best one you can afford is the best one. And that's all I really have to say. 9 times out of 10, even if someone tells you they want something edited in something, well, if you just don't tell them what you edited if you just don't tell them what you edited something in, they have no way of finding out, really. They, at the end of the day, they really just do have a video file. Odds are they're not going to check the codec information, and I'm not even sure if your NLE is stored in the codec information. So, whatever that is, like I said, that's why phone is on this list. Hell, the iPad has some good stuff. There's you don't really, when it comes to what the best editor is, there's tons of options, and even ones you don't have to pay for. There's editing softwares that run in your browser. What are your options? So, for PC editing, there are lots of options. It can be overwhelming with how many options there are. You've got 1, Adobe Premiere. This is the content creation standard and is even becoming a movie, TV, film industry standard. It costs $32.50 a month, or I think $20 a month if you buy annually, and I think it's $20 a month if you have it through education if you're in college. Not only are you getting Adobe Premiere, you're also getting the full suite. So you're getting Photoshop, you're getting Illustrator, so you can create vector graphics. You're getting After Effects, so you can do VFX work in that. But if you just need something to edit in, I don't know if I could necessarily recommend Adobe Premiere. It does have some color grading options. You do get a lot of software. You're getting a big bang for your buck. Shimmering. You're getting a lot of bang for your buck when you go for Adobe. 2, DaVinci Resolve / Studio. This is the one I use mostly. I use Adobe a lot. I use DaVinci Resolve a lot. Now, DaVinci Resolve is free for the basic version, or for $250 you can get a perpetual license that has updates forever and is just an overall great NLE to have. The studio version, tons of features, allows you to encode through your GPU. It's great. But for someone who is, maybe on a laptop and they're just getting started, the free version is great. And honestly, it's slowly becoming as popular, and maybe it'll even become more popular than Adobe Premiere one day. It's very, very, very possible. 3 is a classic here. This is Sony Vegas. It's simple. It's been used by creators for years. $20 a month. I think $500 base. But it's pretty solid. It's no frills. It is definitely a cutting piece of software. Its main focus is the cut, which is great because at the end of the day, the most important part of your editing should be the cut and not VFX, color grading. The cut, and I guess also audio. That's another important one. You don't want bad audio. Bad audio will ruin your edit. 4, Final Cut Pro. If you have a MacBook, it's going to run great on the cheapest M1 Mac you can buy. And even if you're just editing standard 1080p footage, you can go back to 2011, and a lot of that, a MacBook then will edit that footage fine. You have not really a problem. And then the 5th one here is Kdenlive. So Kdenlive is completely free. It's completely open source. It's really similar to DaVinci Resolve, and it runs on Linux. It is DaVinci Resolve also runs on Linux, but it's not quite as good as the Windows version. Kdenlive is completely open source and free, and it has a lot of cool color grading features, and it's got some 2D composition features. I haven't looked too far into the 3D composition features, but Kdenlive seems to be that great. Like, if you want to get started, you can just start learning it. It's great. Linux users love to use it to edit. Honestly, if you're a Linux user, you could use that or DaVinci. Those should be your 2 options there. And then we have honorable mentions here. Honorable mentions would be Avid. Avid for years, since the mid-90s, was the standard for digital editing for Hollywood movies. All the way back when you would be editing off of tape and film reels, and they first figured out a way to edit on the computer using an NLE, Avid was there, and Avid's been around forever. Avid's a little pricey. Avid is a little pricey, so there's that. Am I missing something here? I'm not missing anything, for my chat, am I? Oh. I want to offer you... Oh. Bleh. 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 No, I'm good. Okay. Avid is one of the big ones people like to use for editing movies, and they still do. If you read a lot of books about editing, people tend to talk about Avid as being that main one that you should still be using. You have HitFilm Express. HitFilm Express is another solid option. It costs a little bit of money. However, it is actually a solid option for it's a solid option for editing, and honestly just a really respectable edit. It's got tons of features. It even has some 2D and 3D composition options. I just personally don't have too much experience with it, but it besides outside basic use, which is fine, because at the end of the day, basic use is the name of the game here, and all the extra stuff at the end of the day is extra stuff. Wondershare Filmora. Wondershare Filmora, pretty solid, pretty great, has some issues that I personally make it so it is not an option for me, but if people want to buy a perpetual license for a piece of software and get some updates, you can do that. It's some people like that. They changed their business model a bit, so not everything is not everything. You're not gonna keep getting updates forever, like you will with DaVinci and Sony, I believe. So there is that. So you take that with a grain of salt, or take it for what it is. And then you have Windows Movie Maker, of course. Windows Movie Maker is what most people first get started on when they start editing, and it's not amazing, but it's not even great. It's not even good, but it kind of boils down to that keep it simple, stupid nature, and the simplicity of Windows Movie Maker is kind of at the end of the day the main goal of editing. It's simple. The cut is what's important. The cut comes before anything else. You need your cut. If you're not doing a cut, you need to do all your cuts first before you do anything else. So that's why the big bulk of it is, it's a good first starting editor, especially for someone who doesn't have a lot of software expertise. So, you know, cutting together your home movies, that's great. Some people even used to make a bridge series on Windows Movie Maker. It's not impossible. You can do it. A lot of YouTubers used to use Windows Movie Maker. And then, of course, you've got your last one. You've got Blender. Blender, surprisingly enough, is considered an editing software, and a lot of people do use Blender. It just also has 3D animation options, and that's really cool. But it does have a lot of, just like Blender normally, it has a bit of a learning curve. And it's kind of, usually VFX is what you're going to be worried about the most when editing. So that's the big thing about it. So so yeah. Alright, so what do I have next here? Now that I've talked about what your options are, we've got here how to edit. These are the 4 keys that you need to remember when to edit, how to edit. This is all you need to know. This is literally all you need to know. Once you learn how to import your footage and everything for the software, which most of the time is just dragging and dropping, it comes down to J, K, L, and cut. That's mostly what it comes down to. Anybody can start editing just by knowing these 4 keys. J for backwards, K for stop, L for forwards. It's going to let you scrub through your footage quicker. It's going to create, it's the start of an efficient workflow. And of course the cut key, just so you know where to put your cut points. That's great. That's amazing. So, what's going on here? Oh. Couldn't download network issue? Well, I hope that gets fixed because I need to... Perhaps I have the file locally. And if I do, this will be a lot easier because I can just do a transfer. I do have all that footage. Alright, cool. Well, then we're gonna go to my stream dock here. Create a new folder. I'm gonna go ahead and call that projects. Yeah, this is gonna be Cinestudy. couple of things to grab here. What is this that I just opened here? Sorry, doing some transfers here. Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to see what's going on here. Jam dialogue. Okay. So we have our main footage there, and then we've got this stuff. Okay. Just making sure I have everything I need here. Let me go ahead and put that transfer away there. Is that finished? Yeah, that's the completed 4K footage. Okay. Footage is only 2 gigs, and that's 4 gigs. Okay. Now, I'm going to be starting with a short film from this website called Cinestudy. So, Cinestudy, for those looking for projects, yeah, I don't care about OneDrive, please go away. To find their kind of, if you need an editing project, somewhere to start, I think there's nowhere better than Cinestudy. Cinestudy is a great way to learn the basics of editing, because at the end of the day, it comes down to the cut, it comes down to syncing up your audio, all that extra color grade, VFX, 3D, anything, keyframing is supplementary to the main edit, your main cut. So this specific project is a 16mm short film made by Peter John Ross from Sunny Boo back in 2004. I'm assuming it was for college, as the set is very reminiscent to that of college, of a student setting. So we even have, this footage is free to use, and edit your own version, mix however you want, upload it to any sites, as long as you as long as you credit, so as long as you credit everyone, and use their hashtag. Now, something really interesting about this is this is all in 4K because it was done in 16mm film. You can even get a 6.5K version of it, so you can get even higher fidelity footage if you really so please. Just making sure that I have the correct mic set up here. Yeah. It's fine. Everything's good. And I'm just gonna make sure that this is the same, that I'm not stealing anybody's music here. No, I'm not. Okay. Let me go ahead and bring back the Cinestudy. And there's even a really cool, interesting thing about Cinestudy, this specific Cinestudy project, is that when you get down the credits and you get down to editor, you insert your own self. You are credited as the editor because you are editing this project, because this footage is raw footage. Now, what is, okay.
Take home turkey from your local Amazon.
Yeah, take home turkey. So, there is a challenge in this editing challenge. I mean, that's what it is. It's meant to challenge you. It's meant to sort of, once you've learned the basics, kind of let you put what you've learned to the test here and kind of put you through an editing situation in which certain things are not the most optimal. Maybe there's something wrong with it or something that makes it difficult to edit, and as a editor, that's kind of something you're going to be dealing with a lot here, because nobody's perfect, everybody makes mistakes, and when people make mistakes, it's kind of the editor's job to fix them, assuming that the other filmmakers and directors and everyone else are unable to fix this with reshoots. Fix it in post. Fix it in post. That's what we're here to do. I mean, that's, we'll fix it in post. You hear people say that all the time. And, well, here's where we are, and this is what we're doing. We are fixing it in post. So that, oh, jeez. Okay. So, you don't need to see that. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. No worries. Yeah, so fix it in post. Just in case. Let's refresh this one. Yeah. Alright, fix it in post. That's what we're here to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started with this project. I have everything I need here. But what we're going to do here first is we're going to start one of the first big good practices of editing, and that is creating proper bins for everything. So a proper bin structure, you can go ahead and look it up, what it looks like. But for our purposes today, whatever keeps us well enough organized is what we're going to be dealing with. So I'm going to go ahead and create one for the project, so I don't have everything in the root, and I'm just going to call it Cinestudy DMV. Alright. This music is intense. So we've got Cinestudy DMV. Oh, jeez. Alright. So with Cinestudy DMV, we're going to be adding some of the footage from our... We're going to be adding some of the footage from our main folder that contains all of the Cinestudy assets. Just whatever we can add. So I'm going to go ahead and create a folder I'm going to create another bin inside for timelines. Sometimes you need multiple timelines to edit. It happens. I'm going to create another bin for... Oh, that's timeline. Whoops. I'm going to create a new bin for footage. And I'm going to create a new bin for audio. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and drag our dialogue audio into our audio. It's going to ask me to change frame rate. I do not want to do that. I'm going to go back in the chain here, go to footage, and I'm going to put my footage in. And then we have a license exam Cinestudy PDF here. I'm going to go ahead and open this up here. And we have the whole script here. And because we have the whole script, we are able to get a better idea of what we need something to look like. So interior, DMV office, wide shot, shows a line of people trying to get to the desk. Drab floor, fluorescent colors. It's explaining what the stage, and scene direction is supposed to look like. And that's good. That shows that what we're looking at is accurate. And then it's going to be XU. It's going to be close up. You'll notice that there's shorthand a lot of time in scripts and screenplays, and just go ahead and learn some of this stuff. It's very important when going and editing, and it's also good to use it if you do plan to write any of it, just because some of these are industry standard, So XU is going to be close up of a shot, almost closing time, kind of ticking. That's kind of their idea. And then interior. Interior means inside. That's where they're at. That's what's going on here. So let's go ahead and start with the first part of the scene here. Wide shot shows a line of people trying to get to the desk. Now, no one scene is gonna look, no one edit is gonna look the same to another. As a matter of fact, I could re-edit this 100 times and it'll look different every single time. And I think it'll even look different if I try to make it look exactly the same, assuming I don't have one of the edits as a reference. That is kind of the reality of editing, and it kind of allows me to say there is no perfect frame. Let me just go ahead and say that there are people in the editing world who believe that the perfect frame does exist. You know, you've got people like Walter Murch, who created this book called In the Blink of an Eye, who edited Godfather 3, which the editing for Godfather 3 was good. I can't speak to the rest of the film. But when it comes to editing, the perfect frame isn't exactly something that just exists. It's something that you find for yourself. And when you find it for yourself, you're going to know. You will see where you need to start, where you need to end. Where you start and where you end isn't really important, as long as you get the idea ahead. If you need to make your starting point as close as the action, or as far away from the action as you need, that's okay. Do not worry about finding your perfect in and your perfect out, because you can change that. It's kind of the big thing of non-destructive editing. You know, the footage isn't harmed at all when you edit, so you can go ahead and fix any issues. Now, there is a problem with this footage already that I've noticed here, is we've got 10 minutes here of footage total, which includes takes and outtakes, and people just kind of meandering around, setting things up, going from next shot to next shot, next scene to next scene. But here in the audio, thank God the audio actually does have some video here.
Scene 6, take 1, 6A.
It does have audio here, which is going to help us. The thing is, the audio is an hour long. Now, that means I have to go in and find the 10 minutes of audio that correspond to the 10 minutes of footage that we have for the shot. So there's a couple ways you could do this. I wouldn't necessarily say that for this there's a right way and a wrong way. There's an efficient way and then there's an inefficient way, however. And I wouldn't say that the inefficient way is exactly bad. It's just you can cause more headaches for yourself by not properly syncing your audio. Now, there is also another problem with this footage here that makes it a little bit difficult. So it has no scratch audio. Because this was shot on film, and the camera, I believe, the camera and the audio is not combined into one device here, and that's just the nature of film, and non-audio film, that there is no audio strip for it. All the footage is silent, so 99% of the time, 75% of the time, if you have audio from a camera, which is called your scratch track, that's going to be the bad audio that comes out of the camera that gets recorded. You have it, and then you've got your external device audio. So generally from like a field recorder, some sort of tape or something, people record from these. They record to SD cards. They go from relatively cheap to very, very expensive. People record onto these for content creation and even some filmmaking. And when they do, you'll get provided an audio file that's a lot cleaner, and they'll usually use a clap or a clapper board or a marker board here to sync up that audio, so you have an audio sync, something that syncs up the audio, that allows you to sync up the audio more easily, as you can tell in the wavelength of the audio. So I don't have a scratch track at all. So that makes this a little more difficult. And there's also another problem with this footage here. So because it's film, everything's a lot softer, and the lighting is also not quite as good because it's film. It's high ISO, meaning it's meant to be shot indoors. If I try to get a good look, even though I can probably magnify this quite a bit, because I can't read any of what's on the roll, what scene this is, and what take this is, it's gonna be really difficult for me to figure out what audio goes to what audio. So now I'm missing tools. I'm going into this almost blind. This is gonna be hard. It's a challenge. This is probably the hardest part of the entire editing challenge. And that's kind of what this is. So I'm going to go ahead and let me just mess with my timeline a little bit to get it to be the way I want it to be. How is this? Oh, there we go. All right. So I'm going to go ahead. I have my my actual footage in 1. I wonder if I can at least, if there's anything that's going to allow me to get actually a good edit here. Now, luckily, the audio has its own footage here.
Do you think I could go get the other paper? We're going down.
You can't even go back in time.
Now, I need to go ahead and fit together. Okay, so not everything, and because the nature of content creation and movie making, not everything is shot in order. That's an important distinction there. So like this clock scene should be like maybe a second scene, but it's not. So
Okay, let's do one more of that. And one more of that. So that thing is kind of, should I say speed, get a little more in the character of some.
So.
Working 30 days. 70 times.
No, quiet please. And action. Action.
Now, finding usable footage here, finding usable audio, actually, this is going to be the tough one here. So, what I'm going to worry about is finding the take I want to use, and then finding the audio after the fact. So, let me go ahead and refer to the script one more time. And it says, interior wide shot, show a line of people trying to get to the desk. So we've got our wide shot here. And we've got, there we go, he's waiting. But if you come back a little, if you come forward a little bit, you're going to notice, boom, that. When they clap that, so this is going to be scene 2, take 2. Since for this scene we can see that, we are going to want to find that in the footage. So, look, there we go. We've got our, he's impatiently waiting. People in line, they want to get to the desk. So, in order to find the Oh gosh, look at that smile. Alright, so I'm going to look at there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the audio. And okay, so assuming you have no other tools that allow you to easily find what's being said. However, we live in the frickin' future, so there's a thing that I can do here. And that's called transcribing audio. Now, because I can transcribe the audio, I can find exactly what I need in order to sync up this audio. It's another tool. So for the large majority of editing history, we have not had this feature, and this has not been a thing people have been able to do. But in programs like DaVinci Resolve, Studio Edition, and Adobe Premiere, you are able to use AI in order to transcribe all of the audio. And that's really cool. It's really cool. It's not perfect, but it will give us a good idea of what we need to figure out what audio goes to what footage. And I'll show you in a bit here that even within this edit, the audio that goes to the same footage may not even necessarily be what footage we need or what audio we need. Because of the nature of editing, we are able to kind of mix and match to create a more coherent picture that works together and more sort of that fits into the story that we're assembling here. Editing is not just pushing buttons, whatever anybody tries to tell you. You are, in fact, putting together a story, and your story-making skills are a big part of what makes an edit work. Gone are the days of mass editing. I want to call them sweatshops because they kind of are. They kind of were sweatshops, where it would be just a room full of underpaid women looking for the exact clip through reels and miles of hundreds and thousands of miles of footage for a single guy that was sitting in a well air conditioned theater looking to edit together his film. So the days of just being a button pusher is kind of over here. You gotta do some storytelling. While I wait for this audio to transcribe. Great. This is great. This is amazing. I'm just gonna go over to what does that look like? Okay. That doesn't look like bad, so that's good. Let me go ahead and see if I can okay. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and enter in, and let me see here, DaVinci Resolve. Yeah. Ooh. No drugs, use tobacco or anything. All right. Alright. Oh, that's right. I have the Discord panels in here. Gosh, it's been a minute since I've looked up any of my stuff here. Alright, so now we actually have this all transcoded out. And what we're going to look for is scene 2, take 2. So if we can just search for them to say scene 2, take 2, no results. So what if I... Alright. Interesting. Ah. Scene 1, take 1.
Scene 1, take 1.
Now, it seems our footage starts with scene, let's see here. So, we have scene 1, take 1. I can't seem to find scene 2, take 2. So, but I do see one that says C1, take 2.
C1, take 2.
And there you go. There's something that you heard there. So, heard that loud noise? Well, we're going to go ahead and we're just going to drop this onto a timeline. Create our first timeline here.
Do you think I can go get the other paper over to the front?
You go back in time.
So, if I'm going to go ahead and enlarge the audio here. Yeah, I don't care about that. We're going to enlarge the audio here so we can see the waveform. So what we're looking for here is any like giant spike in audio. So right here. Hold on. Alright. So no, not editorial. What's going on here? No, editor. So we have, we're looking for giant spikes in audio here, and if you
And action.
you're listening for that, what you're looking for is the clapboard to be sounding mid, and that's how you know that a take is getting ready to start.
Take 1.
There, scene 1, take 1. And so I believe this is C1, take 2.
Slow down your movement.
Got a measurement?
Anything.
A bit of audio editing together. I believe this is another one. Something's going on.
Ross, we missed the slate in that. We missed the slate.
Well, let's get the slate down.
There was no sound.
Because this one's MOS, I'm not as worried.
I know, but still.
Sure. Right. Everybody ready? Second. Son of a bitch.
And it seems it's done the work for us in that regard already. Seen.
Right here. You set? Okay, ready? Speed. Slate.
Scene 2, take 2.
Scene 2, take 2.
Scene 2, take 2.
There we go. We have that giant bit of audio there. That's going to be our point for what we know to sync the audio. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that entire scene.
Action.
Yeah. All right.
Does this other paper make me look fat?
Action. Cut it.
Great. So that scene doesn't have any audio anyways. So that is nobody's talking, nobody's doing anything. We just have audio. That audio is kind of redundant at this point. It's kind of more or less seems like it's more or less meant to create room tone, But because of that, we know with the first bit of footage that we can create something using no audio, using no dialogue audio, of course. So I'm gonna go ahead and assemble our first bit here. So I'm gonna look here. So we're gonna go ahead and follow the script to a degree, but we are gonna, do some of our own, have some of our own nuances here. So we're looking for. So that scene that we found here. This guy's impatient. Okay, we're gonna have some footage here. Of them waiting in line. He's very impatient. Oh, there's the smile. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm not going to show our guy here getting immediately impatient because I don't feel like that would be proper for the scene. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find a spot here. Like he's already... So let's start with the first bit here. So... So we're going to start with the second bit before we actually do it. So we're going to start him jumping up a bit, kind of. Let's start the first frame with him looking at his phone. So let's go with like just a few seconds. So there we go. We got our first clip on the board. Trying to figure out where to start here. It's just kind of... he's impatient. There he goes. Yeah. And now we're going to go ahead and switch to that clock exterior shot. So I'm going to show like a few seconds of that. The shot's a little unstable, but that's okay. So now we have, he's waiting for a while, and then we have the clock moving to show how slowly time is moving. And then we're going to go ahead and go back to the scene here. And then I'm going to go ahead and just come back to reiterate sort of on how impatient he is and how slow time is moving. So yeah, come on. And then just once again, I want to come back to the clock shot because that is really pretty footage, by the way. Is this commission? No. Hi, Howdy, how you doing? So, this is a project from a website called Cinestudy. So, the purpose of this stream that I did was to kind of show, to talk about kind of what people need to start editing and kind of why editing is important. I'm gonna go ahead and start over with my spiel just so you can hear it, so you don't have to watch. So just in case, so you don't have to like watch it in a VOD later if you really wanted to hear it. And so let me go ahead and start here with who am I? Small content creator, freelance video editor, editing theory enthusiast, someone who wants to help you. It's kind of why should I edit? 1, learn a new skill. 2, be part of a content-focused world. Because as we go into the future, we notice that more and more people are making more content, and kind of having a good grasp on how to edit is kind of important in making that content and making that content better. 3, once again, to reiterate, you're presenting your art in a way that stands out, and when you can edit well, you can make something look really nice. And then there's make cool stuff. You can do so much with editing. I actually plan to do a stream to where I show like dubbing and abridging kind of stuff, and what kind of things you are open to when you start editing. And then 5, of course, is make money, because people like making money. Freelance is really cool sometimes. 3, what do you need to get started? You only need 3 things, and I'm gonna say till the end of the earth you only need these 3 things. 4th thing would only be a willingness to learn and a willingness to go and seek out information that you need to help yourself edit. And 1 would be a phone or a computer. I'm really not going to recommend you have the best workstation or anything to start editing. People edit on a phone all the time, and I genuinely believe that you could probably edit on a computer from 2011 and get some clean 1080p footage. 3, something to edit. Believe it or not, something to edit for people trying to build maybe a portfolio or an editing reel is finding something to edit, or even trying to find clients. Something to edit is always hard to find, and if you're not going to make that, finding someone else's footage to edit, it can be a little difficult. What is the best video editing software, or NLE, which stands for non-linear editor, which is pretty self-explanatory. You're not editing linearly. You're not going from shot to shot to shot to shot, and you're able to cut things up in a way that makes you able to take things that are shot out of order and put them into one coherent single go. The answer to that is the one you have. The best editing software is the one that you have access to, and the one that doesn't break your bank, and one that you can justify. It's really important to be able to justify what you've purchased, and if you're not bringing anything in, I probably wouldn't recommend, or if it's not just like a expense that is from your regular, what you bring in, there's no need to spend money on it. So what are your options? Well, here are your options. If you have a computer and something that's relatively modern, these are your options. 1, of course, the industry standard being Adobe Premiere. Everybody uses Adobe Premiere. Not everybody, but a lot of people who create content. It's an industry standard. It costs $32.50 a month. Not only that, though, it does come with the entire Adobe suite, but it is a little pricey, and it really adds up really quick, so I wouldn't justify getting it if you were just starting out. 2 is DaVinci Resolve and DaVinci Resolve Studio. There's a reason I made a distinction between the 2, is because DaVinci Resolve is free, but Studio is paid. Now, there's not much difference between the 2, only in the features that come with each one. It's $250 for a perpetual license forever. You get updates forever. You never have to worry about getting left behind. You will get a feature update every time something comes out. And it's slowly becoming more popular than Adobe Premiere. And it has tons of features, great color grading features, 2D and 3D compositioning tech behind it that can be arguably better than After Effects in the grand scheme of things, but I'm not too concerned about After Effects. The most important part here, and I'm going to say it every time, the cut is the most important part of editing. It is, next to audio, it is what you need to focus on first before you do anything else, because all of that stuff is really extra. 3 is Sony Vegas. It's simple. It's been used by a lot of content creators in the past. $20 a month. It's cheaper than Adobe Premiere, and if you're getting your foot in the door, it's really cool. It is also helps you focus on that. It's a cutting software, because cutting is it's goal there. It's not meant to do much else besides cutting and putting together audio and all that stuff. There's not a ton of frills. And then you have Final Cut Pro. Now, it's a premium Apple product here. It costs like $300. I don't think you get updates forever if they release a new version. I think they still go by the old model. Runs very fast on the cheapest M1 Mac. The cheapest M1 Mac with 8 gigs of unified memory can handle 4K footage no problem, with multiple layers and even some light VFX work. It's kind of crazy. You could even go back to like a 2011 MacBook Pro and play and use the latest version of the OS that is the latest version of Final Cut Pro that is supported, and that'll run fine. You'll actually be able to edit some 1080p video, no problem. And even if you're willing to do some proxying, which I'll get into later, you can actually edit relatively well on some pretty modest hardware. And then 5, of course, here is Kdenlive. Now, Kdenlive, now howdy if you don't know, Cam actually edits everything in Kdenlive. 1, it's completely free. 2, it's open source. 3, it's very similar to DaVinci Resolve in feature sets and just overall layout. And also it runs on Linux. I mean, it is the perfect free. To call it perfect is rough because it does have a lot of problems. It doesn't handle resource management as well as maybe other pieces of software. But for what it is, it does relatively well. And then, of course, we have my honorable mentions here. And that's Avid. Avid is the industry standard for filmmaking. And when it comes to Kdenlive is good. At the end of the day, I will live and die by DaVinci Resolve, and I personally believe that it doesn't matter what NLE you use. The best NLE for you is the one that you like. And when it comes down to cutting and editing, there are simple principles that make every single piece of editing software the same, that you will run into and realize that you can actually just get to this point to where you pick up any piece of editing software and you're able to cut like a pro every time. Once you just learn some basics, how to import your software, how to make a bin, that's once you get used to using that stuff, you can really you are limitless in what you can do with it. So Avid is one of those things. And also, another side note, I actually believe in using multiple editing softwares when editing. So if you're going from outside just the basic cut, I cut in Adobe Premiere for my rough cut. For my main rough cut, and just I use Adobe Premiere every time. Not every time, a lot of the time. Also, it has better handling of frame-by-frame movement. And then what I do is I export that, and I move it over to DaVinci Resolve for everything else. DaVinci Resolve, while it is good at cut, it is good enough at cutting. CapCut is not that bad. CapCut's fine. Like I said, the best editing software is the one you have. It's the one you have access to. If you can use CapCut even has a PC version. It just, if you want better features in CapCut, you need to pay for it. Now, you have, and that's the thing, DaVinci Resolve is what we call a finisher piece of software. So DaVinci Resolve, while it's not the best for cutting, it does amazing in everything else. It has Fusion, which is arguably a better VFX engine than After Effects. It's node-based as opposed to layer-based, and even has splines for layer-based editing, and you're able to do 2D and 3D compositions. And arguably, once you learn how nodes work, a simpler way than in After Effects. It has its own render engine, and it's quite interesting. There's some trainings on there for 3D composition through it. And then there's the color tab. The color tab for DaVinci Resolve is an industry standard for color grading. There's actually a standalone version of both Fusion and the color tab for DaVinci Resolve, just because people like color grading in it that much. You've got a LUTs page and everything. It's really cool. DaVinci kind of does it all. That's kind of what their idea is, but they do VFX and color grading the best. That's all I have to say, but at the end of the day, your edit doesn't... The color grading and VFX, it's all extra stuff. Like I said, we're all worried about the cut first. Next is HitFilm Express. HitFilm Express, while it's paid, it's another one that a lot of people like to use. Students really like to use HitFilm Express. It allows them to... It's got a ton of features. I'd argue it's probably about as good as... It's like... I look at HitFilm Express as Sony Vegas Plus. It's got more than Sony Vegas. But it's got a bit more modest of a price tag. Then you have Wondershare Filmora. Wondershare Filmora, very new editor friendly. The only problem with Wondershare Filmora is that they changed their business model recently to, if you buy a perpetual license, you are only buying a perpetual license to the current version you have. So you don't get feature updates. You will have to pay when the next set of features comes out that you want, you will have to pay for that $150. And then of course we've got the one that has kind of carried people starting their content creation career and everything, and that's Windows Movie Maker. The importance of Windows Movie Maker is its simplicity and what it puts on, the cut. The cut is the most important part of your edit. It's what you need to do before you do anything else. You need to make sure that gets done. Everything else is extra and everything. And then you have Blender. Believe it or not, Blender can be considered a piece of editing software. It has editing features. It seems to... it has a high learning curve. But to be fair... Blender just has a high learning curve in general, but I did want to add it because it is kind of funny and people do use it. People edit it in a lot of things. There are people who edit in Godot, the game engine. People edit in a game engine. It just shows, as long as you're willing to make those cuts, you don't really need to worry about what software you're really editing in. There's tons of options, and sometimes, the version of Premiere that's in your phone can be good enough. The iPad has a version of DaVinci Resolve. It works. And then, of course, there's the last page here, and that's how to edit. And when I say how to edit, I think you only need to know these first 4 things just to get yourself started, besides in and out points. And that's these keys. That's J, K, L. Backwards, stop, forwards. It's how, when you know on what footage, a lot of the most editing softwares have these these keybinds in common, and that's that you have J for backwards, K for stop, and F for forwards, and you can press L or J. It's super creative. It's very advanced. So if, let's say you hit L and you hit L another time, a lot of the times what it'll do in your editing is it will allow you to watch your footage in 2 times speed, and then you've got your stop, and then you've got your backwards for J. And of course you've got the next key that you need to know, and that's how to cut. Because I don't think you need to really know anything else about your software. That all that comes later, and all that comes with when you need to learn how to do something. Keyframing, while it's important, it's not it's extra stuff. Edit first, cut first. In this case, for DaVinci Resolve, the default edit cut key is B. B, so you can go ahead and click. Now, there's even a binding that you want to learn, which I honestly recommend people learn, is cut where your playhead is. I don't know I think it's Control B. Yeah, Control B in DaVinci Resolve is to cut where your playhead is, and that's always really cool because it allows you to go here. Oh, I want to cut exactly on that frame. I don't want to have to go and then A to go back to your normal. And the cool thing about DaVinci Resolve, you can even use different presets for controls. So if you are used to Final Cut or Adobe, there's actually settings in your preferences or keyboard customization that let you use that piece of software's bindings by default. So B, A. In this situation, I believe it's V and C, or V and B for Adobe Premiere. I don't remember off the top of my head. I actually am a little more advanced of a power user when it comes to Adobe Premiere. I actually use this. I use this as my editing jog wheel, and it even has some macros here. These can be expensive. These can be cheap. This is a used one. This one has the USB 1.2 standard, I believe, so it is a little old. But the Shuttle Pro, they make a Shuttle Pro V2. It's got a little jog wheel, so I can easily scrub through my footage. I can't use that on DaVinci Resolve, unfortunately, because DaVinci Resolve has their own way of doing macros and everything that just doesn't work with this. And also think they need to sell their editing keyboard, so they kind of make sure that you aren't messing around too much with auto hotkey and stuff. You can do auto hotkey, you can even do macros. It's just that one, the way this one works, doesn't seem to have access to serial directly in the same way. But I digress. That's kind of so the kind of at the end of the day is to just get in and edit, shape your story. Editing is, a lot of the time, it is telling a story. It's not just pushing buttons. That brings me to a good way to learn. And, what better way to learn than with other people's stuff? Because if you can learn how to make other people's stuff look good, well, then later on you can create stuff that you can edit to look good from your own stuff. That's how you can make good content yourself later. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch to a browser window for. Let me just go ahead. The Cinestudy Editing Challenge. So this specific editing challenge is a 16mm short film shot in 2004 by Peter John Ross, who created his film studio, Sunny Boo. I believe this was when he was in college. I'm not 100% sure. The point is, this is a really easy way to start editing quick and learn how to deal with some challenges that you may have while editing. Things that help you deal with things that are out of your control. Sometimes you can't go out and reshoot something to fix an edit, so you kind of have to roll with the punches here. You gotta fix it in post, and that's one of the big things, is fixing it in post. You've heard we're gonna fix it in post. It's something people say. Well, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing here. We're fixing it in post. So the really cool thing about this is it recommends editing software. HitFilm Express, free. There's a free version of HitFilm Express that has a watermark. I was trying to offer options that don't have watermarks here. I do believe. Let me see here. Is it just gonna download immediately? Yeah, it wants me to do all this stuff. I'm not doing that. Okay. It even offers resources for royalty-free songs, so you can use in your edit. And you'll notice over time you will collect royalty-free stuff. And that's the thing about when you purchase royalty or access free, royalty-free assets, is you create a collection. And over time, once you have a large collection of royalty-free assets, you will be invincible when trying to create edits. DaVinci Resolve, get it for free. There you go. The difference between Studio has has GPU encoding, as opposed to where just regular Resolve has CPU encoding. So that's one big difference. So we've got a 4K scan of the raw footage here of 16mm film. So when I first saw this, I was really excited. I was like, oh, I get to edit film, a film transfer. You can even get a 6.5K film transfer, and then you get all of the audio with some like outtakes for footage. Now, they're also going to give you the script and just a couple of other important resources here, like sound effects, voiceover, and then music. That's always good. It's always good to have some music for your edit. It's really helps you bring an edit to life. And you're allowed to use this and upload this on whatever your edit on whatever website you want and use it as much as you want. All you have to do is use the credits either on screen or in the description. So a lot of people put time into making this. I also do recommend that you make sure that you credit people, and use a hashtag Cinestudy, hashtag SunnyBoo, Peter John Ross, whatever. Now, if you go down the credits that you're going to be using later, there's even an option here for editor, insert your name. Make sure when you edit something that you're going to credit yourself, because if you don't credit yourself, there's no evidence that you worked on that. If your name is in those credits, you are golden. That's how you can confirm that you worked on something. So make sure to credit yourself, and make sure to credit all those involved, and when it's important and when applicable. So yeah, so that's just one of the edit challenges on here. There's a few others. There's one for sound mixing, one for an a VFX short film, a mockumentary, which I've also edited at one point for practice. It was really nice. And trailers, documentaries, sound design, just to kind of teach you how to better learn all these, learn different editing situations. Dolly shots. Dolly shots is important. Learning how to edit a sequence, a restaurant scene. When it comes to doing movies and different types of cuts, it's really important to know these things. You will learn them over time too. It kind of you learn one thing at a time. You go slow. You just need the will to learn, and you'll be able to learn this stuff. And that brings us back to this editing challenge here. I started, so there's a problem. There is one little problem with this specific challenge. Not this challenge, footage. Because this was shot in film, there is no scratch audio track to sync up the main audio to. Meaning I have to rely on the marker boards and audio waveform in order to figure out what goes to what. And now there's even another problem with that. Because the marker boards, because film is soft, and for a lot of these scenes, this isn't readable, and that's a problem. So what I'm gonna have to do is solve that problem by fixing it myself. So I will have to manually sync audio where necessary and where applicable, in order to create a coherent picture and sound. Shouldn't be too hard. So I've pulled up the script, because when editing a project that has a script, it's always good to have the script, and especially this specific script was written like a screenplay. It is a screenplay. So you have all the shorthand, like interior, XU, which stands for close up, and stage direction with lines. So a good place to start, to know where to start, is to follow this and kind of build a picture with what you have. So the first bit of it says a wide shot, show a line of people trying to get to the desk, and then it describes the room a bit. So I'm gonna go ahead. I went ahead and started with this guy. Let's call him George. His name isn't actually George, but oh wait, no, his name is George. That's hilarious. He looks like a George, doesn't he? He looks like he would come to my house to watch Breakfast at Tiffany's because he didn't actually read the book. That's how he looks. I didn't know his name was actually... Yeah, this is Costanza's, right? This dude's Costanza as fuck. I didn't think Costanza was a look, but this dude is Costanza to the max. Alright, I'll start with him looking impatient, you know. Oh, look, this is 2004 as hell. Look, he's got his... What phone is that? Zoom in. I'm like, zoom in. Enhance. He looks like he cries when watching Home Alone 2. That is hilarious. That's so funny. Where was this? This was filmed in Ohio, I believe. Wow. Yeah, you know what? Forget making this just a day at the DMV. Like this is we're making a Seinfeld episode. It's a short film about nothing. Well, we're at the DMV. It is a short film about nothing. That's hilarious. That's what I would have called this. I would have called this a short film about nothing. Okay, so there he is sitting there, the cold open. This is a really smart cold open, too. Just waiting in line at the DMV, showing a clock to represent time moving forward, showing him be even more impatient, you know. This was out of order, actually. This happened second, and this happened first. So I thought, and this happened before all of it, so I just thought it was important to get that in. And then I was thinking about using the close-up of the clock one more time, just to kind of show, and then, boost the audio later on, just to and I think I'm gonna do that just to kind of represent how long they're there for and how slow time is moving by. I don't want to use too much here. Now, there's a big thing people struggle with when editing, and that's finding the perfect in and out point for a shot. There is no perfect in and out point. A man named Robert Murch, who wrote the book In the Blink of an Eye, talks about the perfect... he edited Apocalypse Now and The Godfather 3. He talks about how he doesn't find his end point until he can stop on a frame 10 times. You aren't Walter Murch. You aren't editing on film using a Moviola. You are on an NLE in the future, and you are concerned about that. So, I would argue, and people would agree with me, is that there is no perfect in and out point. If I were to edit a scene one way, or let's say I was to edit a scene 4 times, if I didn't have the previous edits for reference, I wouldn't edit. There is no way that I would edit it the same way every single time. In and out points would be different all over the place. And that's what I'm going to tell you. It doesn't really matter too much. It matters a little bit. For example, you don't want to edit. You don't want to cut when a character is mid-blink. It makes it really disillusionizing. It really causes disillusionment with the with what they're watching. If you see like somebody go, but right before it cuts to the next scene. There's also another principle of editing that's very important, and that is, I'm going to come to it right now, and that is if you go to a movie theater and you point a camera at the audience, you will notice that all watchers of that movie that are paying attention to the movie blink in unison. Why is this? Well, if you turn that camera around again, you will notice that the blinks correspond to cuts. People, when they're blinking, they're cutting. So, you'll notice that when a cut happens, that people blink. With that said, that means you could potentially use this to your advantage. You can make the cut point for when they would, because of when they blink, they open their eyes and something else is on the screen. They now have to re-grab focus of what they're looking at. You want to make this as easy as you can for the viewer. Don't draw focus away from your main footage here, from your focal point. So the character you're paying attention to. In this case, the focal point is all of these guys. So if you have a focal point that isn't exactly where it's supposed to be, so let's say you have a shot, and let's say all three of these guys, for some reason, they're in the lower part of the shot. Well, wherever your focal point was on the last shot is gonna be the people that are watching, their eyes are gonna be at the bottom of the screen still. So you've got nothing going on. So on the bottom, so now they have to go ahead and find out what's going on, and it causes them to struggle a little bit with what they're looking at. So I'm going to go ahead, what I'm going to do here is, I'm going to reframe the shot. So I'm going to go to my inspector here, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and then I'm going to, this is under the hypothetically that your focus isn't in the center here. It's clearly on the center, and to the left, you want to focus on all three of these people. That's another thing. George is just such a big character here that you don't pay attention to the two other characters that are going to be a big part of your edit here. So why not zoom in a little bit, focus them, put them in, get this person, the background person doesn't need to be in frame, and zoom in about 10%. And since this is 4K footage, you can zoom in 10% with almost no noticeable quality loss. So you're focusing on these three, and then you've got the clock that's in the middle here. You are keeping your focal point. Everything is working out. Everything's where it's supposed to be. You've blinked, and your focal point stays where it was. And now that this is closer, I do think that's a little funny. You got this lady looking over his shoulder. To read. I do want to leave that in, just as like a little wink and a nod. This isn't the most stable footage, but neither is film in general, so I'm not really concerned about it. I could stabilize it, but it would add a very unnatural feel to it. You can tell that this was like handheld and like not on a tripod. Look at those colors. Those colors just look amazing. Like whoever did that shot just knows how to make stuff look great. Peter John Ross, of course, being the original director for this, so I'm assuming he knew what he was doing. He's not very popular, but he does know how to make some good. He knows how to make some good stuff. So I don't want this to go on for as long as it is. So why don't I cut it here, just if you need to cut something, cut it. If you don't give too much room to breathe, there's an argument that every minute there should be a minimum of 6 cuts for every minute you have of footage, minimum, or else you're letting things drag on for too long. So, yeah, he's impatient. Clock is ticking. So, I'd say right after the eye roll, is a good natural transition to the clock. So let me see if I can maybe give it a little more room here. Let's see here. Or maybe right there. That might be a good spot. There we go. Or no, I think that feels right. Okay. Now that we've got that put together, let's go ahead and go to the second scene here. Interior DMV office. Clerk and girl look down at current patrons, yeah, as current patrons walk off. DMV desk clerk and girl. So that would be, we go to the footage here. Okay. All right. I think so we've got this here. We've got this scene and we've got this take here. So we've got scene 8. So at some point someone says scene 8, and because we live in the future, I can go to our audio, and I have a transcription. I have a transcription of our audio. I'm supposed to, at least. Here we go. So why don't I go ahead and search for scene 8. Oh, look at that.
8, take 2. 8, take 2.
Scene 8, take 2.
Action.
Now let's see if we can figure out if that our footage that we were looking at is take 2. Oh, there's nothing there.
Take 2.
Action.
What if I just search for 8? I don't see any other look for 8. So I think that is going to be our scene 8 audio there.
8, take 2.
Action.
And he looks over.
31, 32, and 33.
Okay, so Brady, go change clothes.
Or how about, I've got an idea now. I have a good idea. I think it's a good idea. So we start here. And then we go to And then what we do here is we go to the footage with gives it click, 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 tick tock, tick tock. Like that. So, and then let's go ahead and go to the and now we'll go to the clock. So we'll start with that wide. Oh gosh, that is a hard zoom. Then we'll go to the clock here. So then he looks at the clock. Wait, I think that's our close-up. That is our close-up here. Alright. Click. So, tick, tick, tick. I think we only need 3 ticks. Tick, 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 tick. We're gonna add sound effects to all this after the fact. So. So now we're gonna go, there should be footage here, this initial footage. Of him I think there's another close-up of him giving footage to somebody. I mean him giving an ID to somebody. No, they only do it once. Okay. Oh no. Because he does that like really stupid one. Yeah, okay. Alright, it was nice. Yep. Yeah, no. This VOD will be up later. I'm gonna try to keep the VOD up. I really do like this. I do like this. I'm probably gonna put up some YouTube shorts too, just to explain some stuff. Maybe at some point here, I'll have to go through my VOD later. Okay, so we have. Click, click, click. And we're gonna go ahead to Take it easy too, Howdy. Anytime. So I'm going to start mid-action here. Him giving it. So the guy... And then I'm going to cut here back to when they've got the guy... I'd say right before he goes to grab it. So right here, he goes, thanks. I'm going to go right before he starts looking. Alright, and now I'm going to go ahead and go here to '21, '22, and '23. Okay. Let's go ahead and move this footage over. Oh, shoot. Move over for later use. Okay. So now let's go ahead and go to our audio and see if we can find
75.
where he goes 21, 22, and 23.
Thirty-one, 32, and 33.
Oh, he goes 31, 31, 32, and 33.
31, 32, 31,
So I'm gonna go ahead and grab some audio here.
Action.
Right before he says it, give it some room.
31, 32. No, we
75.
31, 32, and 33.
Okay. Now we have that first there. Let's go ahead and add another track. Let's go ahead and I assume it's a stereo track. It is kind of old, so there's a good chance it's not a stereo track. And we want just the audio, and that's a cool thing we can do with DaVinci Resolve here. And now
32 and 33. 31, 32, and 33.
oh, look at that, perfect.
31, 30, 31,
Let's go ahead and give the audio right before.
31, 32, and 31, 32, and 33. 3.
Let's go ahead.
31, 32, and 33.
Normalize the audio levels.
31, 32, and 33.
Perfect.
31, 32, and 33.
Now, here's the thing about this. There's actually a chance that this isn't the exact audio he said. It's just he's repeated the line in such a way to where it lines up well enough. And that's actually a tactic that we might be using more in this to put it together. Because it really doesn't matter if the audio is the same audio, just as long as it syncs up good enough to where the audience doesn't notice.
31, 32, and 33.
Alright, so we got that. And then we have the next part of the scene, a wide of them walking up. So we're going to go our footage here. We're going to find one that we like here, which I believe is just at the beginning. They do it again. I'm going to start there. Let's start with all three of them in the shot. And you know what? We actually need to move some of this over to fit this for that second clock shot. So there we go. Have him being impatient. Yeah. Gets the thing. Looks at the side. Looks at the clock. Oh, what? Huh. We need to flip that around. Let me go ahead and delete the gap there. Wait.
30.
Ah, okay, I know what I did wrong. Let's go ahead and swap here. Okay, there's the first clock and the second clock. Whoa, way too short. Still way too short. Kick. I want 2 ticks. So we need to move back a little bit with this. There we go. Add a little bit of cadence there. Tick, tick.
31, 32, and
And then and of course I left the audio behind. So let me go ahead and fix that.
31, 32, and 33. 31, 32, and 33.
He goes like, thanks.
Thirty-one, 30.
So I need to find that little bit of audio.
Action.
I'll worry about that a little bit later. I just need him going like this or something like that.
31, 32, and 33.
Perfect. So that audio needs to end and where it needs to start. No extra cutoffs here. The important part is we're going to be adding room tone later, so it's not going to sound as rough. So now we're going to go ahead and go find the next part of the footage here. We're going to go and grab our they walk up to the thing footage. So there we go.
33.
Cut.
And there should actually be footage of them walking up. I mean audio for them walking up here.
Holly would like a little more. And action.
Number 31, 32, and 33. 31, 32, and 33.
31, 32, and 33.
Cut, that's good. He's up.
33.
So we have that.
Thirty-three.
Don't give the shot time to linger. We gotta move on quickly, so let's go ahead and end it there. I know I'm rewatching through the same shit a lot, but that's kind of part of making sure
31.
that this works. There's a yeah. Oh. What if I went a little bit before that? So the handoff, I think, is going to be an important part there. Okay. Hands it. Guy goes, thanks.
31, 32, and 33. 31, 32. 31, 32, and 33.
Just the soullessness of the DMV here. The guy looks at the clock here. The clock is tick 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 ticking. Hands the license. Guy walks away.
30.
Immediately. Got to get through the next one.
31, 32, and 33.
Do you have the 1170? Do you have the 1170? That's the 1190. You're going to have to get back in line. Sorry, it's dry out here, man. Did you fill out the 1170? It's cherry. All right. Alan probably left my stream a while ago. Does not give a fuck. Oh, yo, that's pretty neato. It just looks like I'm moving when I rattle my my camera. Oh shoot. Yeah, there we go. But I was just kicking my camera on accident on the bottom of the table. Okay, so we have that. The next shot here after the is the the lights go dim and an unseen announcer's voice starts along with the music. So we're gonna go to footage here and we're gonna go to that scene. He goes, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Department of Motor Vehicles, welcome to the driver's license exam. The DMV license exam.
That's good.
No, you can do it all. Is he on the shots? We don't shots. Is that better?
Yeah, a little bit of his head. Yeah.
Okay, so we ready?
All right, here we go. Play, please.
Yeah. Microphone right here, you can. It's not going to be in the light. It's just do it right there and keep that flag there. We're going to do the whole thing. And I'm
The whole thing with all the questions.
I'm ready.
You know all your lines, everyone?
Everybody know their lines? Anybody need a sheet?
Yeah.
John, how are you? Are you feeling comfortable? Rolling? Rolling. Action.
Thank you. And let's meet our contestants. Oh my, who is this hottie here?
Oh, that's right.
My name is Holly. I'm a student at OSU, and I love bike riding and pets.
Microphone hooked up to anything? Oh, it's just a prop.
Thank you. And let's meet our contestants. Oh my, who is this hottie here?
My name is Holly. I'm a student at OSU.
Now our final question. Is it legal to park in a handicapped spot?
And our final question.
Is it legal to park in a
The age of
handicapped
consent
spot
on Discord.
where there
Something stupid like that.
is no signpost?
No.
What is the age of consent? The final question.
Park in a handicapped spot
Consent. It seems like the kind of guy that asked that question.
where there is no signpost.
Look at him. Look at he's like, yeah.
No.
Ooh, I'm sorry. That's incorrect.
Yes, it's legal.
Yes, she's legal.
Judges?
Judges?
It is legal, but you shouldn't do it out of courtesy.
That's correct.
That's correct. This whole ploy was just so I could make you win.
Judges say Holly is the winner.
Yay!
We haven't forgotten about our other contestants. Chuck, tell them what they've won.
That's good. Let's go through one more rehearsal before we take. Okay, and remember back there, silent clapping.
Or straight up like Elvis right here. They throw the jacket on him.
Okay, let's game.
Thanks, George.
One more rehearsal for video, please.
Right there. And action.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And welcome to driver's license exam.
Ugh, gross.
And welcome to driver's license exam.
Try that again.
This is a really stupid. Like he's really.
That's good.
Hold on. I want to go back to the part here where he's like,
And you, sir. If you're in the passing lane and you're being pulled over
what is the... How old should your Discord kitten be?
by the police, do you pull over to the left hand? We see it.
And what do you do if her dad calls the police?
Police, do you pull over to the left hand or the right hand side?
Do you pull over to the left or the right hand side? Don't you dare. He's like, that's a trick question. You gun it.
Left.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Looks like you got 10 years.
Correct. That's correct.
Legal, but you shouldn't do it out of courtesy.
Yeah. She's legal, but you shouldn't do it at a
That's-
courtesy.
That's correct. Judges say Holly is the winner.
Yay!
What is this like? Trying to find a footage. Okay, so I need the shot.
That's what's gonna. Okay. Looking nervous into the voice. No. Because I mean, I'm gonna
Background,
rewrite
that's
it.
Peter
and
John
get
Ross.
there anyway.
He's the director and the guy who
Ready?
made all
You ready for
this.
speed?
So,
Are we shooting this?
Yeah.
We're not. You can see that light back there. Right out there. Right out there. Right out there. That light back there.
Holly can get it.
Right there. Don't move it from there.
We ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Roll for sound or re-roll. Okay. And when you get speed.
Play it. Speed.
I think one. Action. 3, 2, 1. Cut. Let's do one more.
Look at his like.
I'm ready.
Okay. Roll for sound or re-roll. Okay. And when you get speed.
Play it.
Full take then.
Okay, so what needs to happen here is that the lights need to like come on and like, wow, welcome to the DMV license exam. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab some of the, I'm gonna grab some 16 millimeter. No, I'm gonna grab some of the voiceover, and it should be this one.
Welcome to the Department of Motor Vehicles License Exam.
He does that one too slow. Hold on, I think it's I'm gonna get the audio into the NLE here, and then I'm gonna mess with it. So I'm gonna put in one. Oh, come on, get in. Why does this not want to transfer in?
Welcome to the Department of Motor Vehicle.
Is it because it's a .jcm? Do I need MP3s here? License exam. What is this file format? Jace.jcm. No, not G. I think I'm gonna have to throw this into Audacity. Please tell me I have Audacity. Just because it's the quickest. I don't. I do have Audition though. So we're gonna open up Audition. We're going to throw both those audio sources in, and we need to convert them to, I don't care about that. Is that Steve? Good. Yo, Steve. All right, I'm going to throw these both in.
That's right, John. They just won a brand new bicycle.
That's right, John.
That's right, John. Welcome to the Department of Motor Vehicles License Exam. And welcome to the Department of Motor Vehicles License Exam.
Not bad.
Welcome to the Department of Motor Vehicles License Exam. And welcome to the Department of Motor Vehicles.
All right, I need to like export both of these here. Okay. Well, actually, I don't need multi-session. I need Can I go back, please? I don't know how to use I don't know how to use multi-track. This is bad. Alright, I need to... export these. I don't want to edit these in here. For the sake of this, let's make this a... Let's just make it an MP3. And I need this to go to... Alright. Yeah. And we're gonna export this one too. Where all of a sudden, where's my fucking export option? Ah. Yeah. Okay. So now we have the MP3s. You're not gonna really be able to tell the difference. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. There we go.
That's right,
Before we even shoot.
John. They just want a break. John, they.
All right. Cool. Yeah.
The Department of Motor Vehicles license exam.
And then we need to add. Okay. So. Oh no. There we go. I oversaturated the image. That, or you can just tell I'm really fucking tired. All right. Ba 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 ba. All right, so now that we have our audio here,
Welcome to the Department of Motor Vehicles.
I just want something that I can throw down so I can feel better about what I got here. All right. There we go. Fro looks pissed. All right, I think we have that bit. Welcome to the. So I'm gonna throw down the audio here. Which which one do I want to use?
Welcome to the Department of Motor Vehicles License Exam.
That one sounds like he's slow. Like,
And welcome to the Department of Motor Vehicles License Exam.
that one.
Welcome to the Department of Motor Vehicles License Exam. And welcome to the Department of Motor Vehicles License Exam. Welcome to the Department of Motor Vehicles License Exam. And welcome to the Department of Motor Vehicles License Exam. And welcome to the Department of Motor Vehicles License Exam.
I like that one.
My ass gets exam. My ass gets license exam. And welcome. And welcome. And welcome. And welcome to the Department. My ass gets this.
Yeah, what?
Also, gave her on venom mouth, but it's my phone. My ass gets this. Also, gave her on venom mouth, but it's my phone.
Welcome.
My ass gets.
And welcome to the Department of Motor Vehicles License Exam. And you know, just because you have this recorded doesn't mean you have to use it either, right? I mean, if you're doing work for a client and they have something recorded, clearly they expect that actor that they paid to be used for the voiceover. But if it's your own personal project, I mean, I don't see why I couldn't go ahead and re-record the "and welcome to the Department of Motor Vehicles License Exam." And you know, that's right, John. They just won a brand new bicycle. Those fucking idiots, or something like that. You know, like
Exam.
that's right. And George should kill himself.
Welcome to the
unalive himself. And George should unalive
Department
himself.
of Motor Vehicles License Exam.
Or you can be, oh, kill yourself, George. George, kill yourself. I love you, Holly. That kind of like that kind of shit. That would be funny if I was just editing this and like while like people have spectators like yelling and shit, just me as the one guy. I might like, maybe I'll do something like that. Who knows? I could like even record some footage that looks similar to this, and I could probably, what's that ISO grain at? That's some high ISO. I could do that. I could make it look old. I have the skills and the camera equipment to pay the bills here. Yeah, no, I could totally. I have this old vintage lens here from the 60s. I think I could, in 35 millimeter, with this, it's a Super 35 sensor, I could totally be like, film something like that and add to this, because like, adding to this is totally gonna be, that's kind of some of the things that, when you edit, you kind of need to be willing to do. You gotta be willing to, you know, create your own, assets and stuff. So, that could potentially be something that we do in order to get this working. So I'm gonna, and welcome to the Department of Motor Vehicles License Exam.
And welcome to the exam. And welcome to the Department of Motor Vehicles License Exam. And welcome to the Department. And
I'm gonna use this later as like background murmuring for a project where people are talking.
And welcome to the Department of Motor Vehicles License Exam.
There we go. We're gonna go ahead and grab this audio here.
And welcome to the Department of Motor Vehicles License Exam. And welcome. And welcome to the Department of Motor Vehicles License Exam. License exam. motor vehicle. And welcome. And welcome to the Department of Motor Vehicles license exam.
What if I did like...
And welcome to the Department of Motor Vehicles license exam. Welcome to the Department of Motor Vehicles license exam.
So we've got click, 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 tick, 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 tock. All right, tick tock. Like the clock.
31, 32, and 33.
And welcome to the Department of Motor Vehicles license exam. And welcome.
Or it could be him like...
And welcome to the Department of Motor Vehicles license exam. And welcome to the Department of Motor Vehicles license exam.
Dude, this dude Harley, man, in the corner here, he's just not doing well. Do, and welcome. So let's,
Welcome to the Department of Motor Vehicles license exam. Department of Motor Vehicles license exam.
yeah, so it's like, maybe...
Welcome to the Department of Motor Vehicles license exam. And welcome to the Department of Motor Vehicles license exam. And welcome to the Department of Motor Vehicles.
Okay. Yeah, like we could do like a lights thing and music.
And welcome to the Department of Motor Vehicles license exam.
And welcome to driver's license exam.
What did he just say? Wait. Hold on. There's quite a few syllables to that.
Exam.
Whoa, hold on. Okay, he did just say the F word, alright. Which one? Wait.
And welcome to And welcome to driver's license exam.
Now let's go ahead and try that again. Take 3, rehearsal. Action.
Thank you. Let's meet our contestants. Oh my, who's this young hottie here?
Hi, my name is Holly, and I'm an OSU student. I love bike riding and pets.
Oh, that's great. And you, sir?
He's like, I got something you could pet.
My name is Harley. I work at First Bank. I'm an accounts manager.
Wonderful. And you? I'm sorry, time to get started. Our first question. Is it legal to change lanes at an intersection?
No, it's not legal.
That's correct.
I didn't know we had a buzzer.
Next question. If you're being pulled over by the police and you're in the passing lane, should you pull over to the left hand or the right hand side? Thank you. Now let's meet our contestants. Oh. Thank you. Let's meet our contestants. Oh my, who's this hottie here?
Hi, my name is Holly, and I'm an OSU student, and I love bike riding and pets.
You, sir?
My name's Harley. I work at First Bank. I'm an accounts manager.
Well, let's get started. Our first question. Is it legal to change lanes? Say, Holly is the winner.
Alright, so yeah, let's see. I'm looking for the class board to come back up so scene what?
This is 2 shots in 1, just to let you know. We have the setup and then the whole master. I don't really need another one to go on for this.
Okay, great.
Just make sure your mic does. Are we ready?
Ready.
Sound?
On.
Rolling, okay. Speed. Slate.
C9, take 1.
Scene 9 take 1.
No one.
Alright, let's see if we can find the footage here for scene 9 take 1. That looks like scene 9 take 1. Slate's gonna close. Right there. Whopper, Whopper, Junior, double, triple. Okay. Now we're gonna go ahead and okay. Now go back to audio. There we go. Okay. Now we're gonna go ahead and take this audio here.
Action.
Thank you. Now let's meet our contestants. Oh my, who is this hottie here?
Hi, my name is Holly, and I'm an OSU student, and I love bike riding and pets.
Great, and you, sir?
My name's Harley. I work at First Bank. I'm an accounts manager.
Very nice. Our first question.
I'm an accounts manager.
Very nice. And you, sir? Well, let's get started. Our first question. Is it legal to change lanes at an intersection?
No, it's not legal.
Action.
Thank you. Now let's meet our contestants. Oh my, who is this hottie here?
Hi, my name is Holly, and I like pets.
Great, you, sir?
Yeah.
Contestants.
This
Oh
footage doesn't this footage doesn't match. And I do like that audio take there. So I want to use the previous one. There we go. Okay. That's our footage right there.
Action.
Thank you. Now let's meet our contestants. Oh my, who is this hottie here?
Hi, my name is Holly,
Is
and
now
I'm an
that we
OSU
have that
student.
completely synced up,
One more for safety.
is we can cut the dialogue and we can link it up, and then we can cut it from here. So let's go ahead and unlink the initial dialogue underneath the initial audio clip that has nothing in it underneath. So now we have a synced up clip.
Action.
Thank you. Now let's meet this hottie here.
Hi, my name is Holly, and I'm an OSU student, and I love bike riding and pets.
Great, and you, sir?
My name's Harley. I work at First Bank. I'm an accounts manager.
Very nice. And you, sir? Well, let's get started. Our first question.
Okay.
Is it legal? Our contestants.
And welcome to the Department of Motor Vehicles License Exam. And welcome to the Department of Motor Vehicles License Exam. And welcome to the Department of Motor Vehicles License Exam.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you. Now let's meet our contestants. Oh my, who is this hottie here?
Hi, my name is... Hi, my name is...
Very get off this hottie here.
So I think we have that. That right there, Control B. Okay.
Hi, my name is Holly, and I'm an OSU student, and I love bike riding pets.
Right, and you, sir. Right, and you,
Right there.
and you, sir.
My name's Harley.
And you, sir.
My name's Harley. I work at First Bank. I'm an accounts manager.
Very nice.
Here's an name. It's not accounts manager. Here's an name. It's not I'm an accounts manager. Here's an name. It's not bank. I'm an accounts manager. Here's an name. It's not bank. Yeah, sir. You are awesome.
You, sir.
So we might add in extra footage later for
Sir.
for B-roll, but for now we're just gonna
I'm an accounts manager.
Very nice.
just gonna get the dialogue here.
Here's an manager.
Okay. Okay.
My name's
Get started. Our first question. Is it legal to get started?
Harley, accounts manager.
Very nice. And you,
Here's an manager.
very
Manager.
And you, sir. Very nice. And you, sir. Very nice.
We don't need that little bit of audio there. So we can go, oh, whoops. No, we want to redo that. We don't need that tiny bit of audio there, so we're going to go ahead and hit A real quick. We're going to unlink the clips. We're just going to go ahead and shrink that out.
Very nice. And you. Very nice. And you, sir. Very nice.
There we go. Now we can relink it just for the audio.
You, sir. Well, let's get started. Let's start. Well, let's get started. Our first question. Let's get started. Our first question. Is it legal to change? Started. Our first lanes intersection.
Here, I just want to make this one clip again.
Yes, sir.
There we go. It's one clip again.
Well, let's get started. Well, let's get started. Our first question. Is it legal to change lanes at an intersection?
Okay. There's a cut there.
No, it's not legal.
That's correct.
I didn't know we had...
That's correct.
Control B.
I didn't know we had a buzzer. We had a buzzer.
Next question. Next.
We had a buzzer.
Next question. If you're in the passing lane being pulled over by the police, should you pull over to the left hand or the right hand side?
There's a cut there too.
Left.
Ooh, I'm
Left.
Let's just get the initial stuff going on here.
Ooh, I'm sorry. Inside. Ooh, I'm sorry.
Right.
Right.
That's. Ooh, I'm sorry.
Right.
Right.
That's correct.
Okay.
Now, our final question.
I think I've actually made quite a bit of progress, all things considered. Was that how much in? Like 16 seconds of edited footage?
And welcome to the Department of Motor Vehicles license exam.
That's just kind of the thing about when you have issues like this. It can cause a lot of, it can take a long time to get things done. And that's just the nature of the beast of editing with less than optimal footage characteristics and audio characteristics. So, yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and save this. And next time I will do this again. Goodbye. Oh, wait, what am I doing here? Subscribe it.